we spoke about the Moonies cult, Sun Myung Moon, who was actually working for the CIA, Assad, while leading what became a religious cult. The Moonies cult was riddled with claims of sexual rituals, physical and psychological abuse, and of course, as we've covered already, financial corruption. So much financial corruption that it actually led to a political assassination in Japan. They were buying up land, buildings, entire blocks, all these different companies, while convincing the masses that it was actually for the father. Moon had minted himself as a messiah. And then he got involved with Liberty University. He declared himself just, a messiah. A North Korean evangelical cult leader assisted the CIA in its so-called anti-communist efforts. That's how they build. He used his logistics network through the churches to aid the Contras through his Unification Church. They're connected to organizations like CAUSA, and he also ran PR for the Reagan administration regarding U.S.'s involvement in Central America through his newspaper, The Washington Times. Okay, so what's important is that this Sun Myung Moon later would bail Liberty University out. The person in the email said roughly the amount was $20 to $40 million in the mid-1990s.
I'm a survivor of 20 years of cult abuse and child trafficking. I worked with an organization that claimed to combat child trafficking for about 3.5 years, and the founder, Craig Sawyer, is a self-proclaimed Christian. He kept associating with this cult, and I kept questioning it to initially be told they're not a cult, they're just good Christians. As you can tell, Craig Sawyer himself is a self-proclaimed avid Christian, and he often thanks Rod of Iron Ministries, aka King Bullethead, Sean Moon's son, who's now the heir to Sean Moon's kingdom, who thinks he's the second coming of Jesus. Anyway, this good Christian thinks that these guys are good Christians and could not stop associating, but also was receiving a lot of money from this known cult. And as a self-proclaimed federal criminal investigator, I felt like he should have known better. So when I kept asking questions, then he started calling me a witch. Ugh. I'm saying, who's filling your head with all these negative, hostile thoughts? But most importantly, he continually denied a lot of things that turned out to be true. And these are just some public records, but let me show you an example of when I was questioning him about the Moonies and how he responded. Now, in May 2024, I was questioning a lot of things, specifically the misappropriation of funds, not combating child trafficking, but you're raising millions of dollars saying you're combating child trafficking, not having the 100% conviction rate you claim, and anyway, we're just not being effective in this mission. But then the excuse is because we don't have the time and resources, but then you're always hanging out with this weird cult, and they're dropping mad donations all over the place. But then when I'm calling you guys out and you're like, I'll review any evidence, but our relationship of them being supportive of us is no crime on our part, none. If they turn out to be dirty on that, I'll help out them away. So Craig Sawyer, I have a question for you. Do you still think they're not a cult? In fact, do you still think they're Christians? As Candace Owen mentioned, this cult has a lot of tentacles in a lot of different Christian organizations and non